My name is Nico Steves. Podcasts this summer season will run 15 minutes each in a re-release of my book, The Constant Procession, the history of the Virgin Mary since she passed on. I'd like to thank you for your listening to these weekly Constant Procession podcasts, and also for purchasing plus spreading the word about my book, The Very Fine Light, which is available on Amazon.com. This summer I'll also be traveling to complete my next book, and I will be bringing you a few reports from the field about this upcoming book. And so, please keep checking my website, nicosteves.com, as I will be posting blog updates from time to time. By the way, keep me posted on what you're up to in the comments section of my website or via email at nicosteves@gmail.com. And now enjoy installment 6 of The Constant Procession. 14 miles north of the center of Mexico City stands a natural stone outcrop. This is where in the year 1531 an apparition took place not long after Cortes's conquest. Surrounding this steep stone hill, jutting up from the surrounding lowlands, now stands a sprawling spiritual center, built as the result of human beings answering an apparition of the Madonna's request over 500 years ago. The Basilica de Guadalupe is one of the most visited shrines to the Madonna in the world today. The local name for this place is Tepeyac Hill. This unique high point is where in 1531 the Madonna appeared to a peasant named Juan Diego, now Saint Diego. It is a stone hill, and it must have stood out from the once swamp-like terrain. It seems to me that the Madonna wanted the church to be built on the very top of the hill, rather than at its base. Almost as proof, an older sanctuary that remains today has a noticeable lean as over time its foundation sank on one side, much like the famous Leaning Tower of Pisa. But this has never stopped the admirers from coming to seek the Madonna's help. And today this steep stone hill holds a man-made garden paradise planted with beautiful flowers and greenery of all kinds in reverence to the Castilian roses Saint Diego found on that cold winter day. The year is 1531, not long after the horrific conquest. It is rainy, cold, and a windy morning the first week of December. As church services began in the wee hours of the morning, a native who had been converted to Christianity set out on his trek to the church in what is now Mexico City. It is difficult to know what the city may have been like post-destruction. What is known is that he lived to the north on the outskirts of the city. In the path between his hometown and the downtown city is a large stone outcrop which stood out above the swamp-like landscape. Juan Diego hears music and sees lights begin to radiate on the top of this hill. He notices a cloud that forms at the center of this unusual display. It is silent and very quiet as the morning first comes around. All at once, streaks of light burst from the low-hanging cloud. Amazed at the sight, Juan stops to look up. He hears something. To his amazement, it seems to be a woman's voice. It sounds to him as though she is calling his name. Shocked, he becomes frozen where he stands. Again and again, he is sure she is saying, "Juan Diego! Juan Diego! Juan Diego!" His curiosity gets the better of him, and he climbs towards the top of the hill, where he discovers in the center of the cloud the lady. She is beautiful and radiant. "Juan Diego, my son, where are you going?" An account by Francis Johnston continues from his book, The Wonder of Guadalupe. When translated in English, Juan Diego replies, "Noble lady, I am on my way to Mass." The Madonna continued, "Know for certain, dearest, that I am the perfect and perpetual Virgin Mary, Mother of the true God, through whom everything lives, the Lord of all things, who is Master of heaven and earth. I ardently desire a teocalli, a temple, be built here for worship of my Son. It will be a place where I will show and offer all my love, my compassion, my help, and my protection to the people. I am your merciful mother, the mother of all who live united in this land, and of all mankind, of all who love me, of those who cry to me, of those who have confidence in me. Here I will hear their weeping and their sorrows, and will remedy and alleviate their sufferings, necessities, and misfortunes. Therefore, in order to realize my intentions, go to the house of the Bishop of Mexico City, and tell him that I sent you, and that it is my desire to have a temple built here. Tell him all that you have seen and heard. Be assured that I have been very grateful, and will reward you for doing diligently what I have asked of you. Now that you hear my words, my son, go and do everything best as you can. Humbled by Her Majesty, Juan Diego accepts the remarkable request. Descending the rocky slopes in wonderment, he makes his way to town. In a tentative state, because he realizes his humble appearance and daybreak call to Bishop Zumarraga may not be greeted with enthusiasm. The kind bishop, along with a translator of the Aztec language, listens to the amazing request from Juan Diego. Though impressed by the sincerity, the bishop asks a number of questions about Gospels, his occupation, and religious practices. Shaking his head, the bishop tells Juan Diego to come back another time and that he would reflect on the story. With heavy heart, Juan Diego approaches the rocky hill, certain that he will find the apparition. Bowing low in admiration, he tells her of the bishop's response and begs forgiveness for failing her. Entrust this message to someone of importance, someone well known and respected, so that your wishes will be accomplished, for I am but a lowly peasant, and you, my lady, have sent me to a place where I have no standing. Forgive me if I have disappointed you for having failed in my mission. This statement of Juan Diego's helped to convince Pope John Paul II, 500 years later, to elevate Juan Diego to the status of saint. In his address on the same location in the year 2002, the Pope said, quote, "By his humble and noble manner, Juan Diego takes his rightful place in history. His modest demeanor and belief that he is not the best of people to carry out this request summons a mild soul, not a self-contained ego, but rather speaks from the heart." Unquote. The account continues. Mother Mary tenderly replies, "Listen to me, my dearest son, and understand that I have many servants and messengers whom I could charge with the delivery of my message. I urge you to go to the bishop again tomorrow. Tell him in my name, and make him fully understand my disposition that he should undertake the erection of the temple for which I ask. And repeat to him that it is I in person, the ever Virgin Mary, the Mother of God, who sent you." The next day, brushing aside fear of humiliation and being mauled by the guard dogs, Juan Diego murmurs a prayer to the Blessed Virgin before arriving. Greeted at the bishop's residence with disdain, he is kept waiting in the cold for a long time. Bishop Zumarraga, surprised to see him back so soon, is embarrassed as Juan Diego drops to his knees and tearfully pleads and begs, imploring the bishop to do as the Virgin requested. Unsure what to think, with great care the bishop asks Juan Diego, "Where did you see her? How long did she stay?" The native Mexican tells the same story as he had the day before with great sincerity. Though impressed by Juan Diego and his sincerity, the bishop did not want to commit to building a temple at such a remote spot on the basis of one Indian's unproven testimony. Concerned that the man could have some form of self-delusion, he decides the best way to determine just what to believe. He instructs Juan Diego to bring some sort of a sign from heaven. Eager, and with renewed hope that the bishop believes in his experience, Juan Diego asks what sort of a sign did the bishop want. Bishop Zumarraga hesitates, then says he will leave it up to the apparition to provide the sign. The bishop's men follow Juan Diego, but they lose him in the ravine by the hill. Juan Diego finds himself enveloped in a bright aura concealing his whereabouts as he climbs the mountain. He throws himself at her feet and pours out a flood of sorrow. No one believed him. He had done the best he could, but he failed. Would the lady give him some kind of a sign to convince the bishop? The lady smiled and said, "That is very well, my little son. Return here tomorrow, and you will have the sign as he has requested." Relieved from his burden, Juan Diego goes home to learn his uncle is dying. All night and the next day, he stays by his uncle's bedside. He hoped the lady would understand and excuse his absence from Tepeyac Hill. His uncle pleads with Juan Diego to hurry to the city and bring a priest to hear his last confession and administer his uncle's last rites. As he hurries towards the city, Juan Diego determines a decision on what to do as he approaches Tepeyac Hill. If he passed the hill on the usual side, the lady would detain him in order to give him the sign for the bishop. He feared that he had not a moment to lose, so he chose to trek around the other side of the hill in order to slip by unseen. As he went around, from on top of the mountain, he sees a glowing cloud of light, which moves towards him, and he finds himself face to face with the lady herself. "Juanito, what is the matter, my little son? Where are you going?" Bowing in embarrassment, before blurting out, "It's my uncle. He's dying. I must hurry to the church in Mexico City to call a priest to hear his confession and to give him his last rites. When I have done this, I will return here immediately to convey your message. Please forgive me and be patient with me. I am not deceiving you. I promise faithfully to come here tomorrow with all haste." He could almost see love and sympathy flow from the apparition. She said, "Listen and let it penetrate your heart. Do not let the illness of your uncle worry you, because he is not going to die." The Madonna asks her son's help, then says, "At this very moment, he is cured." A calm came upon Juan Diego as the mother spoke to him in his native tongue. Though his faith through these encounters began to wane, the apparition overtook his concerns. He offered to set out to see the bishop with the promised sign. The lady pointed to the top of Tepeyac Hill. "Go to the spot where you saw me before. There you will find many flowers. Gather them carefully, assemble them together, and then bring them back to me, and show me what you have." Though deep winter, as he climbs the hill, a smell of roses captures Juan's attention. Upon reaching the summit, he found a rainbow of colorful flowers growing. These included Castilian roses, out of season yet in full bloom. Here, on the stony terrain that just yields cactus, mesquites, and thistles, he begins to gather the beautiful flowers. Using his apron-like coat, known as a tilma, to hold the flowers, descending the hill, he approaches the lady, who is in an oval blaze of light. He approaches and opens his apron to reveal the flowers. The lady begins to arrange them with her own hands. "My little son, these varied flowers are the sign which you are to take to the bishop. Tell him in my name that he will recognize my will and that he must fulfill it. You will be my ambassador, fully worthy of my confidence. I enjoin you not to unfold your tilma, nor reveal its contents, until you are in his presence. Tell him everything. Explain how I sent you to the top of the hill, where you found these flowers growing in profusion, all ready to be gathered. Tell him once again all that you have seen and heard here, to induce him to comply with my wishes, so that the chapel I asked for may be built here." Juan, full of renewed confidence, makes haste, holding the tilma with great care as he goes to the bishop's residence. The gatekeepers look with disdain on Diego. As he enters, they probe, trying to hoodwink him with threats and aggressive demands to see what's inside his tilma. He yields somewhat, letting them get a glimpse of what's inside. The intoxicating aroma of roses makes them gasp at this. Bishop Zumarraga, once again not aware that he has been waiting, admits him in. Present are a number of important people. which includes the new governor of Mexico. I asked for the sign which you requested. Here they are. Behold, receive them. I plucked as many as I could carry and brought them to her. She arranged them with her own hands and replaced them in my robe in order that I might bring them to you. Beyond the out-of-season flowers getting his attention, the bishop is amazed to see an image of the Mother of Christ on the inside of the tilma. All the other men in the room fall to their knees upon seeing the miraculous image. The apparition indeed came to see the bishop. Bishop Zumarraga had prayed for peace in the country. He believed this tribute of flowers and the image on the tilma to be her response to his prayer. The bishop begged forgiveness for doubting the peasant's word. The bishop invites Juan Diego to stay for the night, and the bishop takes the tilma to examine it in private. He also asks Juan Diego to take him to the spot where the apparition occurred the next day. Word of the event spreads throughout the city. The following morning, throngs of people follow the sacred image as it is carried to the cathedral. The bishop and his party follow Juan to the spot where he saw the apparition. Bishop Zumarraga puts into works the immediate building of a small chapel on the spot. This is Nico Steves. I hope you enjoyed this installment. My book, The Very Fine Light, can be found using the title The Very Fine Light on Amazon.com. Please feel free to contact me at nicosteves.com. That's Nikos Steves, Steves.com. If you like this episode, and for more, share them with friends. This is Nico Steves. Thank you. See you next time.